Yeah, two things that have been sticking out to me in the books of Joshua is God telling Joshua to be strong and courageous, and Joshua telling the Israelites who are all fighting, to get to the promised land, to be strong and be courageous, right? For the Lord fights for Israel. Okay? And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, does God not fight for me? Does God not fight for me? Like, and then the obvious answer is like, yes, God fights for you, but it's like, let's sit here and think about it. God designed our bodies. Hold up, let's reel back in. God designed our bodies in all its complexities. So when we do have a virus, our body goes on the defense and attacks the virus. Who designed our bodies? God. So when a foreign invader comes and tries to multiply and take over our body, guess what our body does? Our body goes on the defense and fights for us. So yes, God has been fighting for me this whole sickness. Yes, I had to suffer a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm sure when Joshua went into battle, I'm sure he didn't come out with no cuts, no bruises, right? We don't know, that's not written, but they're fighting with swords and stuff like that. I'm sure you got a paper cut here or there. So I was like, God, you really do fight for me. You made this body so it can fight for me. And it's steady fighting for me. And I just have to be strong-willed. And I was reading Proverbs, and it talks about how the Proverbs 31 woman is very strong-willed. And I'm gonna tell you, it's been very discouraging to be sick and to have this much amount of pain. Like the first day, my whole body was aching, you guys, down to my fingers. It felt like I had arthritis. They were so stiff, and it was crazy. I could barely breathe. It wasn't good. There's something going around. I happened to catch it, and like I said, I haven't been sick in 2 years, so it was new for my body to feel this bad. And then on top of that, I wasn't as well nourished because I didn't have any food prepped and planned when I was sick, so I didn't eat for the couple of days. So I felt like also I was behind on my fitness goals and building muscle, and I was losing a lot of weight. And I felt like I was just so behind during this whole sickness and things like that. But I realized God has me exactly where he wants me to be. Why? Well, right now I'm on YouTube telling this testimony. And then also it just gave me perspective to not take my able body for granted ever again. Not saying I take it for granted, but I'm realizing by being bedridden the time that I have in the day to accomplish A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I take it for granted, not utilizing all the hours, all the seconds, all the minutes that God has given me to multiply my business, to keep posting content, to keep sharing testimonies, keep being engaged in God's word. You know what I mean? I'm not utilizing the gift that God gave me, because we can wake up in the morning and be like, God, thank you for this day. Are we thankful? How thankful are we if we can't use our time wisely? The only person who didn't have enough time in the day was Joshua, because he even says it in Joshua, he commanded the sun to stay where it's at and the moon to stay where it's at. Okay? So the sun stayed still in the sky for a whole day, you guys. Because it said the Lord fought for Israel, and not ever again has it been that the Lord had listened to a man. You know what I mean? So he needed more time to conquer his enemies. But God has given us time and blesses us with a day each day. And it's just, you guys, we have to utilize, and I'm speaking to myself, right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, this is a word for you. If it's a word for you, great, good, jolly goodness. But if it's just a word, it's just a word. It's just a word for me. And what I've been learning when I'm sick. You know what I mean? I don't want to be on here and be like, oh, this is a word for you. You need to listen up. You have discernment. You have discernment. Use it wisely. And yeah, so I just been God's been highlighting that while I'm sick and as I'm recovering. And then I also came to the conclusion too, I'm still sick because I'm acting like I'm sick. So I was looking crustaceous, my dear. So I had to like put on a cute little blouse. I had to, still need to do my nails. I had to, do my hair, whatever I had to do. I was looking like how I felt, right? And if you have faith that you were healed, act like you're healed. If you have faith for in your prayers, act like your prayers is already done. It's already done. So it's like, anyway, so instead of like walking around here looking sick as well as being sick, I was like, let me present myself in a healthy manner and be healthy, because I know that is right around the corner. So yeah, that's just some of the stuff that I'm learning and, discouraging. I feel like I've been crying a lot because I just wish, I know I take my able body for granted, and when I'm healthier, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I don't know, it's just been kind of stressful, but because I also run a business and I have to ship and pack orders, and it's just a lot was on my plate and I couldn't do any of it because I was down for the count. But now I'm feeling a wee bit better. Oh no, I'm feeling a lot of bit better. Like I said, I just got back from laying down. I still have headaches. My head's throbbing. I get winded and I'm congested. But I'm not where I was 3 days ago. And that was aches and pains from head to toe. Like my eyeballs were throbbing because it was so painful. It was like aches. Right? And that's what we have to see too. Like God brought us out of something. It took 3 days. Just like Jesus died and rose again. Wow. What a coincidence, which I don't believe in. The epiphanies that I had, the parallels that I have, especially with reading the book of Joshua and just to God, reading to be strong and courageous. I feel like when I cry, I'm not strong. I feel like, I'm always crying and stuff. But honestly, it's where I'm the strongest when I'm crying. And you'd be like, Arf. And it's like, yeah, because there was a point where I thought I couldn't cry. I absolutely couldn't cry because it comes off as weak. So I would hide my feelings, hide my emotions, hide my vulnerability. And that built this wall. And so nobody could get to me. Lovers in the past, friends in the past, family, nobody could get to me because I was a brick wall. But until God has showed me how to let down my walls, not to everyone, but how vulnerability and then crying is not a weakness, but it shows that you're human. Nobody wants to be human anymore. Everybody wants to put on a strong face, but strength is you can go through this and you can rise, okay? People don't just have a life of rising. Babe, no, okay? The life is going to be you know what I mean? And that's beautiful because God will have you look back on that and sit you here and tell your testimony, right? So enjoy the life of the right? Even when the apostles were with Jesus, it was a lot of stuff was happening, right? One day they're on the boat in the storm. They're scared the storm's about to take their life away. And then in the next chapter, a possessed man is running towards them y'all. You guys. And then Jesus dies. And then 3 days, he resurrects. And he tells the apostles, this time, you're going to be going on a journey without me. But I leave you the Holy Spirit. Okay? And you have the power to heal the sick, You have the power to speak in tongues. You have the power to do this, cast out demons, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now go out into the world and spread the gospel. Okay? So, you know, that's third rise. And I feel like in life, we're steady rising until, you know, our life is over. And what will you have rose from? You know, and just don't, I guess basically the whole purpose of this video, don't let affliction get you down, whatever it is, right? You probably like go through a breakup, or you're going through like maybe getting evicted or something like that. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm sick. Okay. But I kid you not, like the physical pain was just really bad. Days would just cry. I watched the sun go up and I watched the sun go down, and then my eyeballs would just be filled with tears. Pillow soaked with tears. But God is a good God, and I knew that I was gonna rise. And because I knew that my God is a good God, and I remembered his promises. So what are God's promises? That joy comes in the morning. Did it come on the second day? No. I said, okay, God, not this morning. Gotcha. Did it come on the third day? Yes. I started to not have aches and pains. That ceased, but I still had other stuff, right? So I was like, okay, joy's gonna keep coming, and joy has kept coming. So now I'm down to just like headaches, congestion, and very like fatigue and things like that. So joy will come in the morning. Hold on to God's promises, meditate on his word day and night, and let God show you his goodness and how he fights for you. So yeah, anyway, I hope that found somebody well. I know it found me well. All right, I'll see you next video. Bye.